Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to Drums and Drams. My name is Cameron, and today we have another episode of Quick Sips. Today I'm going to be tasting the 1792 aged 12 years, which is an expression from 1792 that I've never had the opportunity to try. Now, when I'm thinking about 1792 products, I have a couple of favorites. Number one, for an everyday sipper, for something that's got a really great balance of flavor and proof, I tend to go for that bottled and bond. I've never had a store pick, but the shelfer is good enough for me. And when I want something a little bit more intense, I always go for that full proof, but I make sure to have a really awesome store pick version. I don't like the standard shelfer of the 1792 full proof. It's a little bit harsh, a little bit unrefined for me. But when you find somebody who has selected a really great barrel of that stuff, you get that really good store pick. Those are the full proofs that I really enjoy. But today, again, we are tasting the aged 12 years version of 1792. So let's go ahead and get into it. I already have it poured out here. I have to say thank you to Dave R, who sent in this sample. Thank you so much, Dave. I really appreciate the quality samples that you've been sending my way. Let's go ahead and get into this and see what we get on the nose. All right, so right away, right out of the glass, getting that standard Barton banana note, although here it's a little less bright than some of the other products that I'm used to. With that additional age, it helps to round out the sort of lightness of that banana note. It has a little bit more body to it, a little bit more fullness. There's actually a good little bit of barrel char going on in here, which I like, as well as a bit of a dark cherry note. Typically 1792 has almost this candied cherry. Again, the age, I've got to suspect, is the culprit here for sort of rounding out and deepening that cherry note. Yeah, not a ton of spice necessarily. I know we have sort of a higher rye content, 18% rye with these Barton products. That's really, I don't know, it's really absorbed into the bourbon. It's really integrated very well. Nothing is standing out too much to me. A little bit of dry woodiness going on here. Yeah, and the sort of oak content here, it's a little bit funky, a little bit more tannic, and yeah, a little bit more of that oak funk than I'm used to with the 1792 product. But all in all, it's pretty well balanced. It doesn't seem too aged, doesn't seem too bright and young like I'm used to with the other 1792 things. So let's see what we get on the palate here. Cheers. Yeah, the rye spice is starting to peek through here a little bit. Very peppery, almost like white pepper. Not quite that fresh cracked black pepper type thing. A little bit of white pepper, but the actual sort of palate experience is very flat. I mean, the pepper had a little bit of development in there. The actual bourbon itself remained very, I don't know, placid, I guess. Is that the word? I don't even know if that's the word, but it's very, very flat on the palate here. I'm gonna have another sip. Yeah, that time I got a little bit more funky oak, a little more funky type caramels going on there. Yeah, the spice is now kind of turning into a little bit of cinnamon, which is nice. It's not entirely pepper, but all in all, I'm not too thrilled by this. In terms of proof here, we have 48.3% ABV, so 96.6 proof. Yeah, it's a little bit lower than the bottled and bond. I don't know, it's not that spectacular. And when I think about aged Barton products, we all know that so many companies are sourcing stuff from Barton and bottling it as their own. I mean, Sam Houston 14, and coming out now is going to be the Sam Houston 15. The Sam Houston stuff is at 98 proof, basically the same proof as what I'm drinking here. And even that 12-year-old from Sam Houston has got some more quality, some more depth to it. It's richer. It's seeming odd to me that 1792's own label is getting the worst end of the deal here. I know that these NDPs are picking certain barrels and everything like that, but I think this is kind of a bad showing for 1792, and now I understand why a lot of people tend to go for those NDP bottlings of Barton juice, even around this proof, as opposed to drinking the 1792 12 year, because it's a little bit flat and uneventful, even though it is a well-refined version of 1792. I still might go for that bottled and bond as an everyday sipper, considering the price point. and, you know, save a couple of extra bucks, save up for that Sam Houston 12, you know, and some of those other NDP bottlings of this Barton juice. So let me do one last sip and we'll wrap it up here. Yeah, same thing. Very thin mouthfeel too. I mean, if it had a little more viscosity to it, it could be a little bit of a different story, but at this point, kind of disappointing. Don't really know what else to say about it. So thank you again, Dave, for sending this sample along. I enjoy it. I don't think it's necessarily worth secondary pricing or worth hunting, you know, and running around and really trying to find this, unless you're obviously completing your 1792 vertical set, which so many of us are. But that's all I've got for this video. Thank you all so much for checking it out. If you liked the video, drop a like below, hit that subscribe button, and hit the bell notification button if you want to find out when I'm going live, which is at least once a week, and also when new content is coming out. If you like what you're seeing from Drums and Drams and you want to help support the channel and get access to some exclusive behind-the-scene content, you can always join the Patreon. The link is in the description below. There's a tier there for everybody. But I think that's all I've got. Stay tuned for the next episode of Quick Sips. Very excited about that. I'm going to be putting Redwood Empire's Haystack Needle 12-year Cabernet finish up against the 12-year port finish. Might be a little less quick of a quick sip, but I'll try to keep it under 10 minutes, do a quick comparison there. I'm very excited about that. So watch out for that video. In the meantime, that's all I've got. I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you so much, and cheers from Drums and Drams.